So my topic today is about using generative AI to bring qualitative capabilities to quantitative surveys. My focus is on the application of conversational AI to improve the quality of responses from open-ended questions. And as I'm sure you've all experienced, the answers to open-ended questions in surveys can be disappointing, failing to deliver the insight that researchers hope for. However, no longer do researchers need to be frustrated that quantitative surveys only provide the what. With AI to probe, you can now understand the why as well, and do this at scale and at speed. Now, the way we address this is with INCA, which stands for Inquisitive Natural Conversation Agent. INCA's main job is to ask intelligent probing questions in response to open-ended answers in a quantitative survey to get more considered responses. The underlying technology is built on generative AI, including GPT-4 and other large language models, and it's been trained and optimized for market research purposes. The training provides large language models more context, edge case handling, and expert guidance in order to reliably generate really good, relevant probing questions. So to illustrate this with a few examples of typical answers people may give to open-ended questions in surveys. Here the participant is asked, "Can you tell me why you wouldn't recommend our hotel?" And they say the service was disappointing. So the participants answered the question, but as researchers, we're left wondering, well, why was the service disappointing, or what about it was disappointing? And that's what the AI probes on. What kind of service did you find unsatisfactory? Or in this case, when the participant answers the culture in response to what do you like about working at our company, the probe, could you tell me more about what you like about the culture? So you can see how from the answer to the probe, we're going to get to richer and deeper insight than from the original open-ended question. And the AI doesn't let people get away with uninformative or gibberish answers. As you can see here, I don't think I understood. Do you mind rewording what you said? Now, this also works with when people give better quality answers. So I'm just going to show you that in a little demo here. So first of all, we had a scale question where the participant was asked, think about the organisation you work for. What impact do you think generative AI will have on its ability to compete? And they said no impact. So that was followed up by an open-ended program by the researcher. Why do you think generative AI will have no impact on your organisation's ability to compete? And the participant gives a fairly detailed and good answer in response to that question. However, we still use INCA's AI to probe. And because a participant said their company's been slow to respond, it's caused a great deal of interest, but not enough leadership to say this is how we're using it to shape our future, then the probe that the AI comes back with is, what do you think is needed to make sure your organisation is taking advantage of the opportunities presented by generative AI? And when the participant answers to the probe, you can see that again, we get another really detailed and good answer, giving us a lot more insight on top of the answer to the original question. And there are some key benefits of AI probing. Firstly, engagement. Participants tell us things like, I feel like I'm talking to a real person to express my thoughts and I'm being heard. Or the format was like having a conversation. It was unique and fun and engaging. And that engagement is reflected in better survey experience scores, as you can see here, from across a number of different countries and cultures. And that has an impact on the actionability of the insights we get. So here's a little case study. We found here when we asked people about the leaders of the three main political parties in Canada with an open-ended question. And we used INCA's AI to probe the response given. And we coded the answers into themes. So first of all, we found that the AI led to more considered answers. We saw higher word count and less uninformative answers in response to the probe than in response to the original open-ended question. Secondly, AI probing led to more differentiated answers. We found twice as many significant differences between the three leaders in response to the probe compared to the original answer. The answers to the probe were more specific and much more likely to be focused on particular policies which differ between the leaders. And we also asked a question about voting attention. and then ran a drivers analysis to see which open-ended themes help to drive voter intention. And here we found that AI probing led to more actionable answers. We saw a much greater number of strengths and improvement areas related to voting intention were identified from the themes listed from the probe than the original open-ended response. So with the addition of AI probing to survey open-ended questions, you will get to much deeper insight. But there are a number of other capabilities that we can build in to the probing. I'm going to illustrate that to you now from this little demo. So the first example I'm going to show you is what we call targeted probing. So here, this was a survey for a pharmaceutical company about new treatments for diabetes. And the researcher was particularly interested if the participant mentioned something about insulin resistance. And you can see here that was part of the response, preventing resistance to insulin. So the AI would then pick up on that and probe to say, you mentioned preventing resistance to insulin. Can you share any thoughts or insights you have on how companies can do that? The second enhancement to the probing I'm going to take you through is what we call trained probing. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of this, and I'm just going to pause after this first example. So in this example, the researcher wants to focus the probing on finding out if there are ways in which a respondent could be encouraged to buy a product that they said they wouldn't buy when shown a concept. And to do so, the researcher provides just 3 examples of probe and answers to train the AI. So then after the first question, which was why would you not buy this packaging, and the participant answers, the AI has been trained, and you can see it picks up to say, well, what kind of imagery could be added instead to make you consider buying the product? And we get a good answer back from the participant. In the next example of trained probing, we've got a very different use case. And here the survey is about a political candidate. And when the respondent answers about a candidate's personality, the researcher wants to understand how this relates back to specific policies that the candidate may have. So you see they've answered the impressions are most dishonest and typical career politician. So then the probe says, well, what are some of the policies or actions that this candidate has that's led you to perceive it this way? And we get a clear answer back from that, from the participant. And the final examples of trained probing, I'm going to illustrate how it can be used to influence IncaSmart Probe's personality. So just letting this run now so I can show you 2 examples here. So in each case, the first question was the same and the answer was the same. But with the probe, for the first example, you can see the first example here was more informal, it included an emoji, compared to the second response, or the second probe, which was more formal in tone. Now, these examples of targeted probing and trained models. So with targeted probing, the researcher is able to specify targets or words of interest and trigger actions, for example, to avoid certain words in the probe, or to probe on that particular term, or to probe on its absence. So, for example, I see you didn't mention X. Why was that? The trained models can be used for a variety of different applications. So, for example, if you have a specialized audience like doctors or lawyers or farmers that have particular specialized language they use, you can train the AI to take on a particular personality or to localize it with a dialect. Or you can steer the probing in particular directions, for example, to present counter arguments. And a third feature is to use the AI to give us a quality check. So the demerit feature determines the quality of the open-ended response based on detection of uninformative, gibberish, or irrelevant answers. And this can enable live screening out of poor quality survey respondents as the survey is taking place. So just to wrap up, whilst undoubtedly some applications of generative AI can be seen as dehumanizing, For market research, we believe that generative AI creates the opposite opportunity. We really believe that generative AI can help us understand humans better by providing deep insight about them in their own words and at scale. So here's my contact details if you want to get in touch with me afterwards. And I'm now going to hand back to Ray for Q&A. Thank you.